I'm Isis Romero, and this is the news in San Antonio. A birthday celebration ended in gunfire, leaving a father and son dead. Police say they initially detained the suspected shooter, but the Carrillo family says he was later released after claiming self-defense. Mike Jimenez spoke with the victim's family as they mourn 2 lives lost in a single night.
The family of Richard Carrillo Sr. and Jr. are speaking with us for the first time after a deadly shooting on Monday outside this Southside bar claimed both their lives. The family is now calling for justice.
All I remember is I was inside and we heard gunshots.
A 39th birthday celebration for Richard Carrillo Jr., or Little Richard as his family called him, quickly turned into a nightmare for Ana Chavez.
So I ran out the gate of the bar. Around the corner, I saw my nephew on the ground and my brother on the ground. He had been shot.
The sight of her brother, Richard Carrillo Sr., or Big Richard, and Little Richard on the ground is something Chavez says she can't get out of her mind.
My heart's going to be broken forever.
On July 20th, just before 7 p.m., police were called out to the Pecan Grove Bar on Roosevelt Avenue near I-10 for a shooting where 2 people were injured. 39-year-old Little Richard was pronounced dead at the scene, and 62-year-old Big Richard taken to the hospital in critical condition. Bridget Carrillo, Big Richard's wife, recalls rushing to the hospital.
And then they told us to come home because the detectives were going to come and talk to us. I didn't find till almost 4 o'clock in the morning that my husband was gone.
Police at the scene told KENS 5 they questioned the shooter at a nearby motel. Chavez says he is a distant relative of Little Richard's and is claiming self-defense, something Chavez disagrees with.
Your intentions were to come and kill my nephew and my brother because you came with a gun to the bar. My nephew and my brother didn't have no weapons. No knives, no guns, no nothing.
The family says Big Richard and Little Richard were good, loving people who were always willing to lend a hand to anyone in need and were always together. Now they are resting together eternally, and the family is now left coping with their loss. On Sunday, relatives held a plate sale to raise money for Big Richard's burial cost and also started a GoFundMe. And as they continue to grieve, family members say they hope the investigation leads to criminal charges.
It's been a tragic loss for us, tragic loss. And it's going to be hard to get over this. We just want justice, that's all. We want him to pay for what he did to our family.
And if you would like to help the family with burial costs for Richard Carrillo Sr., we have posted a link to the GoFundMe on this web story at kens5.com. Mike Jimenez, KENS 5.
Cleanup continues in Kerrville after the recent flooding along the Guadalupe River. The Riverside Nature Center is still assessing damage after powerful floodwaters ripped out trees, destroyed trails, and flooded buildings. Jeremy Baker gives us a look.
For the past 3 weeks, we've been reporting on the businesses and homes that have been destroyed by the flooding earlier this month, but they aren't the only ones that need to recover. Nature also needs to recover too.
It was definitely starting to grow back. We did a preliminary kind of survey just a few weeks ago, actually, and seeing the recovery from after the first flood, the July 4th flood. And we saw a plethora of native species starting to grow back, and we're down back to rocks and grass and not as much growth.
China Rubiano from the Riverside Nature Center says she was heartbroken to see the damage left behind by the second major flood in just 2 years in the Hill Country. They may have had a few buildings severely damaged by the flood, but says the damage left behind to decades of growth by nature was tough to see, but knows that those in the Hill Country will take care of the river just as the river has taken care of them.
Last year, TDM came in and did a lot of debris removal. We really hope that folks strategically leave a lot of that woody debris in place because it helps to stabilize the bank. It will help provide habitat for plants and for animals.
For some of the ways that you can help the Hill Country recover from the devastating flooding earlier this month, we have several links with this story on kens5.com. Reporting from Kerrville, Jeremy Baker, KENS 5.
The damage extends far beyond the riverbanks, with families across Kerrville now facing a long road to rebuild. Bella Papaduke shares the story of a local veteran determined to restore his flooded home.
For years, George Miller answered calls to serve, both in the military and here at home through his volunteer work. But this last month's flooding turned his world upside down, leaving him a long road to recovery and leaning on others for support.
Oh yeah, it was wet.
Navy veteran George Miller never expected to wake up to a disaster. The 78-year-old says he slept through the flooding in Kerrville, only realizing something was wrong when he got out of bed. He was shocked when his feet hit a soaked carpet, and now his home is unlivable.
It was just like, whoa, what am I going to do now?
Miller is staying elsewhere while crews and his family work to clean out the damage to his home on Fawn Ridge Trail Drive. His daughter, Jolie Miller, tells me she was in Alaska for work when the floods hit. As soon as she heard what happened, she flew back to Texas to help take care of her father.
It's disheartening. It really is. There's no, I don't even know how to describe that feeling of despair when you're 4,000 miles away and your dad needs your help.
She says the emotional toll has been difficult, but now they're also bracing for that financial burden. So far, she's received one quote of $40,000 to repair the home. And she's still waiting for the bill from the cleanup crew that began work the day after the floods.
Lost.
That's how Miller describes how he feels. The floods have taken a heavy toll across the hill country, and 3 people have died. In Kerr County alone, around 500 homes and 100 businesses were damaged.
It really breaks my heart.
Before the floods, Miller spent his free time volunteering at a local church thrift store, repairing donated items.
To see, he's helped the community so much, whether it was here for the last 8 years or prior to that or his service in the military. And now, he needs other people's help.
The family is now raising money through a GoFundMe, hoping to get Miller back in his home. For anyone needing a safe place, the Hill Country Emotional Support Office is open on weekdays to help Kerr County residents cope with the emotional impact of this month's floods. We'll have those details on our website, kens5.com. Bella Papaduk, KENS 5.
And that's the news in San Antonio.